Yeah, boy! We in here! Round of applause! Tell them who you are, brother.
What up? It's your boy Sinfanta, and
It's Northern Ma, the boss of the brave hearts, the brave wolf. Bam! Marv is always sus. I am.
what's up, everybody? Hope you're having a wonderful weekend, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're here. Thank you so much.
You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that.
Now, before we start off the show, make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you go to Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and leave a review.
Just do it.
Do it! Do it!
Just do it!
Make your dreams.
Do it!
So,
Just do it!
subscribe to our podcast, ASAP Ferb, on Apple and Spotify. How you doing, my brother Sin?
Man, I missed you. Like, it's been this busy.
Yeah, man, I've
You know,
been busy, man. It's been a crazy week. Definitely a week full of surprises and hiccups and bumps in the road and valleys and peaks and skateboarding. It's my bank account. Yeah, subscribe to Under Predator's bank account. How about you, my brethren? My brethren, you drinking that vino? Oh, we got a classy guy in the on the podcast today. This man's being classy over here. Chacho, brother. Yo, classy Sin in the building. I'm over here drinking from a Mega Man cup.
Before we start, have you heard that Sonic 2 production for the movie has wrapped up already?
That's crazy. Were they filming during the pandemic or something?
Yeah, I don't know. But
I think
just wanted to bring it up.
movies were filming during the pandemic. A lot of movies that we didn't even think are actually were filming throughout the whole pandemic. Unless that movie is mainly CGI. If it's mainly CGI, maybe they weren't. Maybe because you know, they could work from home, so it wouldn't matter if they were in the pandemic. But who knows?
I feel like they were just so bored. They were like, let's knock this out of the park early.
If the movie takes place more in Sonic's world instead of Planet Earth, then it's mainly a CGI affair, and that would mean that they could work from home and it'd be all right. If there's more of Sonic going back to the human world, then I think that how you call it? Then what was I gonna say? I'm sorry, I got a phone call and it knocked me off track. I think that if it's Sonic in the human world again, they were definitely filming during the pandemic then. But I mean, even Mortal Kombat.
You okay? Have you had enough to drink yet?
Not yet, man. I wish I was more saucy. I should have started drinking earlier. To be honest with you, I should have started drinking earlier. But even the Mortal Kombat movie, that's a movie they definitely had to have filmed during the pandemic. And I'm talking about peak pandemic, like season 1 pandemic, like March 2020 pandemic.
Yeah, so you know, I give it a little bit of leeway when it comes to fights, and I did enjoy them, but that stupid lore got ruined.
Well, everybody knows how we feel about it, bro. We had a whole episode ripping and tearing through that movie.
Oh, we got a new story.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Shoot me, brother. Shoot it. Oh, also, before we do anything, guys, just a heads up. This is going to be a special episode. We're going to be talking about a couple good topics. You know what I'm saying? We got the Donkey Kong rumors in the rumor mill. We got some percentages as far as Switch sales go. We got the temporary suspension of Pokemon trading cards in a certain place. Sega news also coming later, and finally some Nintendo 3DS memories later too. So yeah, man, kick it off, Sin. Kick it off, my man.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a really close, well-trusted source saying that, of course, this is the rumor, so take it with a slight pinch of salt. But the next Donkey Kong is being developed by the Super Mario Odyssey team, and it's another source that chimed in. A highly respected Donkey Kong fan site called DK Vine has chimed in on our report and asked the following information. Development of the new Donkey Kong game purportedly began around 2017 or 2018 when Nintendo decided to bring Donkey Kong back internally for the first time since Nintendo EAD's Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Although Jungle Beat was more of a stopgap than a permanent status quo, I've been led to believe that this is a new EPD team that was formed from other teams specifically for the purpose of creating Donkey Kong games. Sorry to disappoint, but I have no info on the 2.5D versus 3D bait debacle. Exactly what kind of game it has never been shared with me, except that it's a platformer of some sort. I've speculated that the absence of information from a serious sources might indicate it's some sort of hybrid. Not exactly Donkey Kong Country, but not exactly a 3D platformer. It's just a hypothesis, not an actual leak from sources. It probably won't have the country branding outside of some retro tinged arcade memorabilia. Donkey Kong Country is the Donkey Kong brand name now.
Hmm.
Uh, I am shocked by this. I thought that since they already did all these new Donkey Kong games over onto the Switch, that they would do a new Donkey Kong game so soon.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Rare was working on the Donkey Kong Country games after, not Rare, I'm sorry, Retro was working on, had finished Tropical Freeze maybe 5 years ago, right? Tropical Freeze came out on the Wii U. And then before that, they had Donkey Kong Country Returns. It looks like they're not using the Country moniker because it's not being developed by Rare or Retro. So, um, I think this is a thing where my mind instantly goes to, hey, these are the guys that did Mario Odyssey. Are they gonna make something like Donkey Kong Odyssey, like a 3D sandbox Donkey Kong game? Because we haven't had one since the N64. And honestly, that's what I would want out of it. To be honest with you, I would love a 3D open world Donkey Kong game out of this, especially from the team that made Odyssey. Forget about it. That would be amazing. Is that what we're gonna get? I mean, before they did Odyssey, they did Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. You play the whole game with the bongos and whatever, or the Wii controller.
Donkey Kong Jungle Beat in space.
It could be. Hey, I mean, if it's Donkey Kong Galaxy or Donkey Kong Odyssey, I still would be super happy with that. Donkey Kong is another IP that they could drop that, and it could be another big seller for the Switch instantly. Same thing like Mario, same thing like Zelda. Donkey Kong games are loved and beloved. So this is good news. I hope it's true. I know it's just a rumor at the moment, but 2D versus 3D. I'm hoping it's 3D, but I'd be happy either way if it's 2D. What do you think, Sen? Would you ever prefer a 3D or 2D?
Honestly, I would want them to go a 3D version. The Donkey Kong 64 had a good mix of fun and exploration. People do sleep on that game due to the fact that you needed the
Expansion pack.
high definition Rumble pack.
No, it was the expansion pack is what it was called.
The expansion pack, yeah.
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 But
I loved it.
it came with the expansion pack if you bought it new. If you bought it used, then it didn't come with it. That was the only game that came with the expansion pack. I remember because I brought Majora's Mask without the expansion pack, and I was sad as hell. I had to look at a static screen for like 2 months. No, maybe like 2 weeks before I can get the expansion pack.
Right.
Yeah, but do you have memories of Mario's Donkey Kong 64? Because I never really got to play it that deep. I played it here and there.
I have a lot of memories about it. There's one particular Kong that you can turn humongous like in a Titan form, and and it was so good turning huge, and then just watching K. Ruby like, oh crap, and then you just
That definitely, that game had a lot of funny stuff to it. Of course, it was made by Rare, and I like the Donkey Kong rap is legendary at this point. It's so classic. The game itself having 5 different characters. I heard it became monotonous though, just collecting. They had way too many things to collect in the game. Um, Also, some of the first person shooting, I know they had guns and stuff in the game too, which was they had like the I think they had like each of them had their own weapon to shoot with or something like that, which I
Yeah.
found kind of weird too. But either way, it just goes to show how crazy Rare was around that 64 era. That was their golden age. But another Donkey Kong 3D, yeah, we've only had one ever. Another 3D Donkey Kong would be dope, especially if it's like Odyssey, bro, where it's like full open world, you know, swinging from vine to vine or building to building or a different type of landscapes or even pirate ships. If we think about like the Donkey Kong styles of levels, you have like jungles, you have like volcanoes, you have like the mine carting levels, you have like factories. The variety of type of levels that are in Donkey Kong Country games, if we can get those kind of things in 3D, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. Imagine that, bro. Do you remember in
Imagine,
go ahead, you first.
imagine them doing Resident Evil Zero.
Resident Evil, that was out of left. Where you come from, Resident Evil Zero? What the?
I feel like there's so many games that should be redone, and then they just don't do it for insert excuse here.
Well, they made an HD port of Resident Evil Zero on every console now, and honestly, Resident Evil Zero is a beautiful game still to this day. I would say it's kind of tough to fight for a remake of it, but it was, I don't know. That's really out of left field. Where you come from with Resident
Yeah,
Evil Zero?
cause like I'm personally thinking like nowadays, you know, we're all tired of ports, but at the same time, as long as we get new games supplied with ports, we can have both have our cake and eat it too, you know.
Yeah, definitely. But this is gonna be a new Donkey Kong game. I'm assuming it's not gonna be a port. So I'm hoping it's not. I don't think so. I can't foresee them just porting a Donkey because we have all the Donkey Kongs already on the Switch. Besides Donkey Kong 64, which I don't think we're ever gonna get a port of that. But all the Donkey Kong Country games 1, 2, and 3 are all on the Switch Online SNES service. Then Donkey Kong Country Returns and Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze are both on the Switch, right? Or is only Tropical Freeze?
Bruh. What about if they come out with? Did they? The Luigi's Mansion original? Did they port that yet?
I don't know, but we're going way into a different area.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, all right.
Where we at?
We'll talk about that some other time.
Where we at? Where we at? Yeah, Donkey Kong 3D. Yeah, I hope it's a 3D game. I don't know. What did you say? You said you hope it's what? 3D or 2D?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's 2D. Yeah.
Oh, you want it to be 2D?
But I want it to be 2D with bongos again.
Oh God, I don't know. That's a hard sell for me.
Why not?
That's a hard sell for me.
What about if when you move you don't have to keep tapping, but then like when you attack, that's a different story.
I never got to play the Jungle Beat game because of the drums. You know what I'm saying? I don't remember how much the drums were, but never really got to play it like that. But from what I hear, it was good. But I don't know if I would want to play a motion Donkey Kong game. To be honest with you, I'd rather like a Donkey Kong Odyssey or Donkey Kong Galaxy, something like that. To be really...
It was, to be honest, one of those games that if you didn't want to play with the jungle, well, you know, you could play with other controls, but it was more optimal with the Congos, with the bongos.
It was built for the bongos, so yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Sliding forward, hey, bro, last year, roughly 20% of Switch console sales went to households that already owned one. Let's read this article from Nintendo Life over here. What we got? What is this? You buying a Switch, you already got one? With the Switch doubling up as home and handheld consoles, and especially now that the portable-only Switch Lite is available, it's easy to see why multiple people in the same household would want their own system. Having multiple Switches in the household provides better multiplayer experiences and enables everyone to play games simultaneously rather than having to take turns. Of course, affording more than one game console isn't possible for everyone, but even the Switch retailing at $300 or $199 for the Switch Lite Nintendo has revealed 20% of console sales last year was snapped up by those who already have a Switch in their house. So this is very interesting to me because this is one of the benefits of being like a handheld console and a home console, because nobody's gonna have like two PS5s in their house. Nobody's gonna have like two GameCubes in their house. Really, like most of the time, it's like a one per family thing. But I remember when I had a Game Boy, my little brothers had a Game Boy, and it wasn't a big deal to buy multiple of the same console when it's a handheld console. So this is the type of sales that only Nintendo can achieve because they are a hybrid console.
Yeah.
But I think you had mentioned something early before, that you might be expecting this might be a negative thing. What was it? What was it you were trying to say before the pod?
I think right now, and it's pretty evident. The evidence is there. I think the Switch is just murdering their other platforms, like that are handheld. Like 3DS hasn't had a game in forever. I think Switch is gonna be the amalgamation of everything put together, and Nintendo's
Oh,
gonna
the
focus on
3DS
that
is
in the
done.
future.
There's no more 3DS games in development. That's been done for like 2 years already.
And
Since
then they have like the little indie games that come out on it, where you're just like, damn, they got the short end of the stick.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say the Switch was ever in competition with the 3DS. Those are very different console generations. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying the PS4 is in competition with the PS5. I would just say that Nintendo has the market to themselves when handhelds come along. When it comes to handhelds, there's no one else with a handheld console besides like Nvidia with their Shield and stuff like that, and like phones. Maybe phones, mobile games is Nintendo's only competition in that space. But the difference is that the Switch is bringing a console experience into your hands, like a handheld. So on the go, a console experience anywhere, anytime, and that's something that cell phones will never be able to replicate unless they start adding buttons and joysticks to them. But
They're gonna have to bring the budgets down low as hell too.
yeah. I mean, it's two different lanes for me. I feel like soccer moms play mobile games and people just to pass the time. But if you're a console gamer and you just want a nice handheld, you're gonna get a Switch without a doubt. But definitely, I think that Nintendo is the only company that can sell you a Switch twice, because your mom and dad, mainly kids, your mom and dad will probably buy two Switches, one for each kid in the house. So it makes sense that there's 20% of sales that are coming from people that already have a Switch in their house.
And then just have the controller break, and then they have to buy it again.
If it's a Switch Mini, but with the Joy Cons, you could just buy new Joy Cons.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. The Switch Mini doesn't have detachable controls, right?
Yeah, only the Switch Mini. So if they both have the regular Switch, then no, you don't need to buy a new console. Just buy new Joy Cons.
Fair enough. I don't know. I feel like them increasing the R&D department, because they're struggling to keep up with the hardware demands and the quote unquote many new games heading this year. Just lets you know the 3DS is out the window. Even though despite their claims, Switch is gonna be the future. End of story.
Yeah, I thought it was. They announced like 2 years ago that the 3DS production is done. I never thought of. I never thought of this of the
No,
3DS still being in the picture.
no, they said that, but then they said, yeah, we're not gonna stop supporting the 3DS, and it's like, yeah, bull.
Yeah, but supporting
Yo,
it could just be just leaving the online service open. Like leaving the eShop open on the 3DS is still supporting it, you know?
yo, what's up, Shadow Man? Welcome. You got any questions you want us to address? Let us know. Um, yeah. Well, in conclusion, I think the Switch is gonna be the future for Nintendo for the longest of times. To be honest.
Yeah. I don't have any doubt of that. I never even thought that there was ever any other option. Um yeah, I don't think there was ever any other option. This is definitely where they're heading and what they're doing now. Um moving forward, Target temporarily suspends sales of Pokemon trading cards in the US. I have no idea what this is about. So let me read. Let me read what they're saying here. Pokemon fans located in America have recently noticed Pokemon trading cards are no longer available at Target around the country. To it's all to ensure the safety of guests and team members, and will take full effect on May 14th. So this is kind of happening a couple days ago. What's today? The 15th. So this
Getting
is
bad.
yesterday.
It's getting bad.
What is going on with the Pokemon? Why are they saying people's safety? Hold on.
Oh my god.
Let me keep reading. To ensure the safety of our guests and team members, effectively May 14th, MLB, NFL, and Pokemon trading cards will no longer be sold in stores until further notice. What? Let's see. Target provided a similar statement to the website Bleeding Cool, clarifying this is only a temporary move that the customers would still be able to purchase cards online at Target.com. The suspension seemingly stems from high demand for trading cards due to the pandemic. It was so bad at one Target that a 35-year-old man was assaulted by 4 men aged between 23 and 35 and pulled out a gun to defend himself. No shots were fired and the attackers fled. This is all news to me, bro. I never heard this. What?
I've been here about it.
What is going on? What is this? What?
I don't think Logan Paul or Jake Paul, whatever one of the Pauls, didn't help in any way, because now everybody's trying to buy Pokemon cards and have them minted and then sell them at ludicrous prices. That's what's happening right now.
Are you kidding me? People are buying Pokemon cards because of the pandemic?
Yep.
Yo, bro, I haven't heard about people buying Pokemon cards besides the diehard fans. I had no idea that there was people outside of the super diehards that, and this is MLB and NFL.
Don't get it twisted. Pokemon TCG now is better. It's bigger than it ever was back when we were little.
You're kidding me.
I'm serious. Look it up.
I would have to look into that, but that's insane to think about. That is completely insane to think about.
Remember when we had those like Magic the Gathering stores and whatever? Yeah, those are little baby compared to what's happening with us now.
What's happening now? Because it isn't as if...
So now we have regardless of pandemic, we have gatherings where people trade minted cards and try to make a profit off each other. Meanwhile, we have people buying boxes of Pokemon cards in Target or whatever just to have like a gotcha opportunity to get a super rare, which they can mint and resell for a ridiculous price.
Okay, so this isn't a thing of the diehard fans shooting each other up. These are the resellers and the people who are just looking to have some equity with it and sell it for higher prices at a different point.
And then the people that are trying to play video games is making it the card game are having a difficult time with that.
Yeah. So the people who just buying Pokemon cards for the fun of it are now the ones that are being, the ones that are in the shithole because of this. This is insanity. Look, it even says MLB and NFL, and I'm trying to think why they included that MLB and NFL for the same reason, the equity thing, right? The future resale of the cards. But if you look at the picture that's on the website, the Magic the Gathering is still being sold. Damn, so is Magic the Gathering dead? Or because people aren't shooting each other over it? Like, what's going on?
It's funny because Magic the Gathering is still going. It's pretty strong. It's just nobody's willing to go that far to like screw each other's lives over.
What's up, Trouble Man? I'm almost thinking maybe Magic the Gathering doesn't have like high resales like Pokemon and baseball and football cards do. So, so I just feel bad for Magic the Gathering. It's sitting. I wish I could show you guys the picture. Magic the Gathering is sitting here on a shelf. Maybe Robbie could put the picture. Robbie, put the picture in here of the Twitter posts. What's good, Marv? What's good, Trouble Man? The commission is in the building. Robbie, put the picture here, the post of the Twitter post that Target put up. Magic the Gathering is just sitting there all lonely while they took off all the sports and Pokemon cards off the shelf. So how about Yu-Gi-Oh? Is Yu-Gi-Oh also do those cards have high resale values in the future? I would imagine they do.
Hell no.
No,
They're nowhere near. They're nowhere near as what Pokemon is doing. Right
I'm
now, it's
sure.
such a boom that they're actually having difficult keeping up with cardboard.
Yo, Sinfanta, Trouble Man said, "What's up, bro?"
Yo, what's up, fam? Welcome to the Bravery Arcade.
Power to all the people!
Yeah. So, damn, Magic the Gathering sad as hell. All right, so that's funny. That's a funny little story. People shooting each other. Yo, man put out a gun because he was about to get jacked for some Pokemon cards, bro. We living in the wild
Imagine saying that
times.
when you were younger.
I could imagine it when we were younger, though. I could imagine it because Pokemon was at the peak of its popularity when I was like
It,
10 or 11 years old. So I
it's
would
at its peak
imagine.
now. It's worse than before. I thought it was bullshit when somebody told me, "Oh yeah, Pokemon has plateaued worse than before." I'm like, baloney. And then I looked at it. I'm like,
But the thing is, this is a different kind of peak, though, that you're talking about because this isn't a peak of people who are diehard fans of the franchise. These are people buying the cards because they're under the assumption that these are going to be worth a lot of money in the future. So,
well, so the interest that they've developed is also developing an interest in the tournament. So it's going hand in hand, fortunately and unfortunately.
but I'm saying though, this peak is not the same type of hype when we were kids. It's a different type of hype. It's a money hype. It's an investment hype. It's like people getting into Bitcoin and Dogcoin. They're getting into it because they're saying in the future this is going to be a big earning for me. Whereas when we were kids, I'm gonna get into Pokemon because it's popular. It's the newest trend, and everyone's using Pokemon cards. They're not. When we were kids, the thought wasn't that these were gonna be worth a lot of money in the future. So
Are you are you trying to get back into Pokemon now?
nah, I never was into Pokemon to begin with. I remember I brought like one pack of Pokemon cards when I was a kid, and I got robbed for a few of them, and I was like, I'm done with Pokemon. I'm done. I'm not fucking with it. Plus,
Yep.
I never had the games. I never had the handheld games when I was a kid either. I missed that whole Pokemon craze that happened when we were kids. I totally missed out on. I was into wrestling too much, I think. Cuz
I think Pokemon.
Pokemon and wrestling were like the two biggest things when I was 10 years old. It
Same.
was it was like wrestling was humongous because when I was 10, it was Stone Cold, The Rock, D-Generation X, Mankind, Undertaker, and it was also Pikachu, Snorlax, Gyarados. Those were two big, huge properties when I was a
Oh
kid
crap.
at the same time. But yeah, I was a wrestling kid instead of like a Pokemon kid. We even had like a wrestling league in my school. There was this part of the playground that we would wrestle in, and we went a couple months without getting in trouble, but we used to like freaking body slam each other in the playground for a while, which was fun. But of course, eventually somebody snitched and the teachers found out.
I uh I feel interestingly attracted by the prospect of Pokemon doing better, but at the same time, I'm concerned because when I first started doing it, it turned into a whole similar situation where hold on, why my mic sounds like this?
Sounds all right to me.
Okay, I fixed it. Um it turned into a whole situation where in the ghetto anyways, if you had a card that wasn't fake that you couldn't see through, people would literally be like, for the first 2 weeks, I'll pay you some money, and then after 2 weeks they would literally fight you and try to steal it from you. So I hope that's not the way it's gonna head.
This is similar. This is similar, but like I said, this isn't about. It's not the same. I'm not super happy with it because this isn't about the love of the franchise. This is not. This is not. I'm a big fan of Pokemon. This is. Hey, I'm gonna buy some Pokemon cards. I'm gonna resell them for a higher. The same thing with sneakers. I'm gonna buy a couple Jordans with a bot online and resell it at a higher price in the future. This isn't about like the love of the franchise. I don't think this is something to be excited about. To be honest with you, it's not a Pokemon Go situation, but I don't know. I don't know about the.
I haven't seen a craze this big for Pokemon cards until that then. So like it's just super weird. But congrats to Pokemon.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sliding forward, we got some Sega news that I really wanted to talk about this week because I think
Yeah.
this is like Sega had an epiphany this week, which I'm super happy to read about. Sega's considering Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio reboots, and working on a super game. I don't know what they mean by super game. Let's read a little bit. This is coming from IGN.
What does that mean?
What's that?
What does that mean?
Let's find out. I don't know what it means either. A financial results presentation has revealed that Sega is considering reboots of Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and other dormant IP while it begins work on a super game. A recent presentation to mark the end of the fiscal year was published to the Sega Sammy Investor Relations website today. The slideshow includes a number of interesting details about the company's future. One slide concerns the utilization of IP, intellectual property assets, noting that IPs are active and dormant, and how Sega plans to remaster, remake, and reboot older series to capitalize on the global recognized IP it has in the vault. A number of old fan favorite franchises are mentioned, including Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, Knights, Space Channel 5, Panzer Dragoon, Res. At the very least, this suggests the company is interested in bringing some of its games back to the market while strengthening its IP, such as Yakuza, Persona, and Sonic. Now, what IGN doesn't mention,
Yes.
and which I heard from a huge number of other. Actually, no, there's more information here. Let me keep reading. The presentation also mentions Sega's 5-year plan to release what's called a super game. While unclear exactly what that term implies, Sega says it's making focused investments in the project and aims to have released by 2026 fiscal year. It's a whole nother console generation from now. As well as turning its existing IPs, active IPs, into global brands. The company wants to create new IP which can expand globally, but which it doesn't expect to immediately highly profitable. No details were given on which Sega studios would make the game, nor what kind of game it would be. As Sega works towards its super game, it also mentions the development of a new first-person shooter title at a European studio, which could well be the ambitious multiplayer sci-fi shooter Creative Assembly is working on. Sega expanded Creative Assembly back in 2017, acquiring Crytek Black Sea and adding to its ranks as Creative Assembly Sophia. Ooh, a lot of crazy terms in this story. What they don't mention in this IGN article is that I've also heard that Sega was saying that they're disappointed in themselves for not utilizing more of a multi-platform idea when it comes to their games. We
Noobs.
meaning that like when it comes to like their big IP, you can only really find them on like one console instead of multi-platform. So Yakuza's only on PlayStation. Not Panzer Dragoon, but Fantasy Star is only on Xbox. There's a lot of games that Sega could have made more money with if they had put them on more consoles. Persona 5 especially.
Yeah.
That should have been on the Switch, bro. With Joker being
Day
in
one.
Smash, why isn't Persona 5 on the Switch? Why do we have this action game, Persona Arena, Persona whatever, but no Persona 5 on the Switch? So
Didn't it come out now though on the Switch?
not the RPG game, not Persona 5 regular. It's still not on the Switch, and which is ridiculous. That game would sell gang bucks on the Switch. It would sell gang bucks on any console. But Sega has been
Epic.
really the last holdout when it comes to console exclusives. Every other company, Namco, Capcom, even stupid Konami, has adapted a multi-platform strategy, and Sega's the only one like, no, I'll put this on Switch, no, I'll put this on Xbox, no, I'll put this on PlayStation, and that game will stay there in that console, and it'll be, that's it. Persona 5, you got to play it on PS5. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's the only place to get it. Panzer Dragoon, you got to play it on the Switch. That's it. That's the only place you can get it.
That's a good game.
Sega has so many good things in the vault. So many good things. I was happy that Streets of Rage came back last year, brought that game up, and I'm hyped for the DLC. And I'm happy that they were like remaking House of the Dead on the Switch too. But those games should all be multi-platform. Those games should be on every console. Sega has so many good IP that can make them so much money. And I remember last week, Sin, you were saying how Nintendo, since they were looking to buy companies, they should buy a piece of Sega to help them with the Sonic franchise. No, Nintendo doesn't have to save Sega. Sega has to save themselves, bro. Like, start pulling things out of the vault that you have that are great games and great franchises. The franchises you used to compete against Nintendo when they were your biggest rival. When you and Nintendo were going to war, bro. When you guys were like sword and sword. Pull those games out the vault, man, and make new ones. You have so many good games.
It kicks you into high gear when you have a competitor.
And that's the biggest problem with Sega since they went third party. They probably feel like they're not in competition. It's not about being number one anymore. They got humbled by the failures of the Sega Saturn and the Sega Dreamcast, and they kind of stopped going for that I gotta be number one mentality how they used to have. Do you remember the commercials from Sega when we were kids, bro?
Yes.
Sega was coming at Nintendo's throat, man. Sega was coming for blood when we were kids, man.
Because they were on their home turf.
Bro, Sega on the playground, the arguments between kids, whether Sega Genesis was better than the Super Nintendo, that was probably my favorite era in gaming. Just because there was only 2 big video game companies instead of 3, and it was like Bloods versus Crips, because half the playground was with Nintendo and half was with Sega. That was the most wildest time for me in gaming. The most wildest. Once Sony came in and took over, Sega just kind of gave up and they just stopped trying, bro. They stopped.
I can't believe it. After all that shit, they're back together. Wait, who? Nintendo and Sega?
Yeah, he probably is talking about Nintendo and Sega. I can't believe when Sonic Adventure 2 came to the GameCube, I couldn't believe that I was playing Sonic on a GameCube, bro. I couldn't even believe it. It was like mind shattering. Like, bro, here I am pressing this giant green A button to play a Sonic Adventure game on the GameCube. That was wild. That was a wild time, man. That was a wild time. Yeah. We would have never thought that would ever happen. I'm telling you, it was like WWF versus WCW on the playground.
Oh my God, I wish WWF. Anyways.
But yeah, do you have a favorite Sega franchise? Is there like a certain game from Sega that you like the most, or are you just not like never been too hyped on anything from Sega?
I can't bring anything to mind that I was like, oh my God, but like there was a point at a time that they had consistent games where I didn't have to worry about buying a bad game, other than something like from LJM, and that company was just trash. But
LJM was on both consoles though. It was on SNES and it was on SNES and it was on Genesis. LJM was a nightmare.
But I'm gonna enjoy the crap out of them. So,
is there a Sega franchise that you would want to see come back? For me, Jet Set Radio is a big one. I love the Jet Grind Radio, Jet Set Radio. They're both the same game, but I would love to see that come back.
Oh my God, the 2 aliens, the red and yellow, alien with the other guy,
Toe Jam and Earl.
Toe Jam and Earl. I love that game.
Yeah, it's a Sega classic. A lot of people don't know about that game. A lot of people sleep on it. I think there is a new one on the Switch. Bonanza Bros. For me, it's like Golden Axe. For me, it's like Skies of Arcadia. If you guys never played Skies of Arcadia on the Dreamcast or the GameCube, that is a solid JRPG. That game, oh my God, I have so many fond memories of playing Skies of Arcadia. Being a sky pirate in that game on the GameCube. So yeah, there's a lot of things from Sega I would like to see them do.
Bonanza Bros, and and whatchamacallit, Toe Jam and Earl are definitely something that Sega should look into talking to Nintendo about. Be like, hey, can you guys please do this and do it right? And I bet you it'll make you fun.
No, man, Sega got to do it themselves, bro. Nintendo can't save Sega, bro. I know that
But
that's
have them at least allow them, you know?
no, man. Sega's got to be a man, bro. Sega's got to save itself. Nintendo can make
Sure.
everybody money, but what Nintendo needs to do is make themselves money first, and Sega needs to make themselves the money, bro. Because they can't go to Nintendo with every single one of their IPs and be like, "Hey, save Turtle Jam. Hey, save Sonic. Hey, save Golden Axe." Nintendo's gonna be like, "Yo, we got our own games to make, buddy. Like, yo, we already killed you guys in the console war. You guys gotta stand up on your own 2 feet and be a man. Be a man, Sega.
Yeah, man!
Be a man, Sega. Shout out to Lich King. He has arisen. Sega's got to be
Kind
a
of like
man, bro.
what Platinum Games did. They freaking brought Bayonetta in and was like, yo, you guys need us. Here's Bayonetta.
Nintendo needed Platinum. Nintendo doesn't need Sega. Nintendo could do them just fine without Sega. But Platinum makes games that Nintendo doesn't make, action games. And Sega makes action games. Sega has Shinobi. You imagine a new Shinobi, 3D Shinobi game? Like, that would be epic, bro. Especially in the era of this Dark Souls super hard games era where everyone loves these super hard games. Like, that's what I would want, a super hard Shinobi in the vein of like Sekiro or whatever, bro. But also Fantasy Star Online is doing really well. It's making Sega a lot of money. The Yakuza franchise is making a lot of money. Persona is making a lot of money. For those of you that don't know, Sega owns Atlas. So everything you see with Atlas on the cover, it's owned by Sega. So that's also a big one for Sega. I think Sega needs to put on their big boy pants, bring back a lot of the games that people love, and freaking make money. Like, make money, Sega. Come on. You're making good money with Persona and Phantasy Star. But make more. Jet Grind Radio, online multiplayer, spray paint the whole city, fight the cops.
It's spray paint.
Bro, like, let's do it. Like, what's stopping you, Sega? Come on. Rocky 3 is a good movie, bro. Come on, Sega.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
So
Sega be
true.
slacking, bro. Sega be slacking sometimes, man. It pisses me off sometimes because other video game companies that I love from my childhood, there's Nintendo, there's Capcom, and there's Sega. Actually, Konami. Those are the four that I really define my childhood. Konami, I gave up on them already. I'm like, damn, man, they so much potential lost there. Capcom has ups and downs. Capcom is like, they'll be high for a minute and they'll be doing really good. Like with Monster Hunter, like right now they're on a high. Monster Hunter Rise, Resident Evil 8,
Yes.
all these other Street Fighter 5, they finally fixing it. And Nintendo's always kind of like on a safe place, even if their consoles suck, like the Wii U, they're still putting out good games. But
Oh god, that
Sega be
console.
lost. Sega gets lost in limbo sometimes, bro. Sega gets lost in limbo where like they'll have like 2 games a year, and it'll be like Sonic, and it'll be like Persona, and then there won't be nothing else from Sega ever that we won't see.
Yes.
Yakuza's doing
Yeah.
really well for Sega, but do more, Sega. Come on, what are you doing?
Why is Yakuza not on Switch? Hmm?
The creator of Yakuza actually was spoken to about the Switch maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, and he was saying that he was really trying to get Yakuza on the Wii U, and Nintendo helped him port the game to the Wii U. Yakuza for the Wii U only came out in Japan, and then the game did not sell well in Japan, so they were like, "Nah, we're not gonna do it in America." So there's a Yakuza game on the Wii U in Japan, but they were like, "We're not gonna do it in America because it didn't sell well in Japan." And after that, he had commented that maybe only Nintendo's only strong with like kids and teenagers. And
Right.
I don't know if he's wrong. I don't know, man, because you know what, he tried to bring Yakuza to the Wii U, and it failed. With the Switch, it probably would do better on Switch if you bought it to the Switch, to be honest with you. But because of that big
Yeah, the
failure,
Switch is selling great.
the Switch is selling way better than the Wii U. But because of that big failure on the Wii U, he was like, nah, no Yakuza on the Wii U. And don't get it twisted. The guy that created Yakuza loves Nintendo. Super Monkey Ball, he created Super Monkey Ball. The Yakuza guy created that cute little game with the monkeys inside the balls that you spin around and stuff. He also directed F-Zero GX for the GameCube. Yes, the Yakuza guy
Which would
directed.
never will never get a sequel to.
I don't know. Like I said, my dream game is a Yakuza Captain Falcon game. A game where like you fight in the street, but you also race people.
Okay, so real quick before we wrap it up, how do you feel about the 3DS going into the future?
I don't think there is a 3DS future. I never thought there was. I thought it was always the Switch is the successor to the 3DS, like how the 3DS was the successor to the DS.
Would you mind having eye tracking 3DS into the handheld? Because I would love it.
No, because for me the 3D thing was always a gimmick, and I don't need gimmicks in my consoles. Gimmicks are cool for like a little while, and then they get old.
You think that is a gimmick, especially with like something like Super Mario 3D, then where you could tell like the distance of jumps and whatnot? I thought it was fantastic.
If only one game utilizes it, then it's a gimmick.
Fair enough.
That's my whole thing. Like even the Joy Cons having HD Rumble, there's only one game.
Yeah, that pisses me. Oh my.
There's only
God.
one game that uses it. So what was the point?
No, five out of hundreds, but still, it's bad.
Yeah, 5 is bad. Out of 100, that's bad. 5 out of 100? What the hell? So no,
I'm just like,
I don't need the 3DS around no more. The graphics don't look good anymore. The not having two analog sticks, that's not good. And I don't need the two screens anymore. I never even needed it during the DS era. I was never like, oh wow, two screens. I don't need that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
enjoy the two screens for obviously
It's all right.
traveling and other things, but
It's
it
all
has
right.
nothing to do with like using two screens within games. That I don't like.
It's all right, but look, because of those two screens, there's some games on the 3DS that you can only play on the 3DS because then you have to change the whole game when you bring it to another console. It's like what you said a couple weeks ago about about Metroid Prime 3. Do you remember what you said about Metroid Prime 3? They pigeonholed themselves into a gimmick with the motion controls, and now it's hard to bring it to the Switch because the Switch does not have the same technology as the Wii. So with 3DS games, they pigeonholed themselves to only being available on the 3DS and not being ported to new consoles because they use the two screens in a way that it can only play on something that has two screens.
Yeah.
So no, I don't need no more games that can only be played on one console like that. I'm good.
So do you think they'll just cut off the company? I mean the supply eventually.
For 3DS? Yeah, I thought they did already.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you think that the 3DS was still a thing. I never heard of anyone saying the 3DS is still a viable modern console. I thought that was done already.
No, I still do see a number of people that play it.
No, I see people play it, but as far as like
Purchase, yeah, no.
as far as purchasing, as far as new games coming out for it, as far as like, look, this week the 3DS just became 10 years old. 10 years, a console is done already after 10 years, bro.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like the Wii U is gonna be 10 years old in a little bit. I think it came out 2012, so next year it'll be 10 years old. Nah, nobody.
And it didn't even last that long. That's the sad part.
It didn't. They cut the lifespan short, but they had to. Lich King is saying, where was Tekken and King of Fighters on the Switch? King of Fighters is on the Switch. So is Sam Show on the Switch. SNK is doing all right with the Switch. As far as Tekken, they brought Tekken to the Wii U, and I bet you it also sold bad. And then they probably were no more Tekken on the Nintendo consoles because it sold bad. But how you call it? No, I never really thought about the 3DS still being around and still being a thing.
Yeah.
What I will say about the 3DS is it marks a 10-year anniversary this week. Is that I remember good memories to 3DS because I was in college. I was in college when the 3DS came out, and you know the Street Pass thing, where like you pass by somebody else that has a 3DS, and you guys, your consoles communicate, and then you get like little puzzle pieces, you get like little cool things inside your 3DS because you did a Street Pass. When I was in college, forget about it. I walk around with my 3DS in my bag or my pocket. I'd get Street Pass everywhere, bro. It was crazy. I had almost every puzzle completed, those 3D puzzles in the game, and had mad people in my Me Adventure RPG game that it had in there. The 3DS had a lot of cool stuff in it that was free that came with the console. I don't know if it was the Metopia or if it was called something else, but that JRPG that it had was dope. If you play with your Miis and fight people.
Bro, my thing is that the 3DS, just like the Wii U and just like the Switch, have these things that should be utilized more. And they have these technologies that we pay for out of our pocket, and then they never use it.
I mean, yeah, it would have been a fair argument 10 years ago, but I mean, what do you want them to do? You want them to focus on this, to put less focus on the Switch and a little bit on the 3DS?
I want them to put more focus on graphics and graphic fidelity and how much the console can do rather than starting to add gimmicks, which we will no longer use after 1 or 2 games.
I agree with you on the gimmicks, but as far as the graphics, I would say the thing is, if Nintendo starts putting so much effort into the graphics, they're going to put themselves in the crossfire of being competition with Xbox and Sony. And I think Nintendo...
Well, not really. They can still have their own approach. But yes,
they could, but the thing is, being less powered makes them cheaper. Being less powered also makes people get creative with the graphics on the Switch because they already know they can't do these photorealistic games on the Switch, so they go with a more artistic approach to the games, which I think works well for games that are exclusive to the Switch. I'd rather have the artsy game than have, hey, look, this looks like real people. Like, this is real people in our game. Look, it's a human being. You know what I'm saying?
oh look, this looks great.
But Nintendo tried the graphical approach with the N64 and the GameCube, where they were like, we're gonna have the console with the best graphics. But then those consoles didn't do too well. So their approach changed. And I think graphics, I think people think it matters, but it doesn't. I'm telling you, Sin, graphics do not matter, bro. When it comes to a game being good, it's just about a game being fun. It's not about
They used to.
the graphics.
They don't matter anymore.
No, I don't think graphics never mattered. If you look at the history
Well,
of
people
consoles,
made it matter.
the internet makes it matter, and fanboys argue over it. But if you look at the history of consoles, the console with the best graphics has never sold the best.
Like the GameCube.
The GameCube had better graphics than the PS2, and the PS2 blew it out of the water.
And
It
then
out
the
of the
Wii?
water. The Wii had the worst graphics and blew Xbox 360 and PS3 out of the water. Like, graphics do not equal money, and Nintendo knows this. That's why they have $1 trillion in the bank, bro. Because they know, like, yo, this is a superficial thing to just say my console has the best graphics, so it's the best console. Xbox games consoles usually have the best graphics, and they never outsell Sony, except for like the 360. The 360 outsold Sony that one time. But yo, having the best graphics is never equals the best console, man. Never. If that was the case, all of us would all be playing PC games, and we don't do that. We buy consoles. I mean, some people only play PCs, but we buy consoles mainly. You know what I mean? So, you know, if I want something with good graphics, I'm going to play it on PC. I'm not going to look for a Nintendo console to do it. I'm not going to even buy a Sony console.
I know this is random, but it just came to me. What about MNP Nintendo podcast?
What's that? Oh, title
just
for
said,
our
what about-
podcast?
MNP Nintendo podcast.
It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but you have the Nintendo.
Nah, man. Titles have to be sexy, bro. We got to come up with something sexy. If anybody has a new
You're
idea
killing
for
me.
the name of our podcast, put it in the chat. We're trying to come up with a new name that has something that says Nintendo on the podcast. Honestly, I was almost gonna say let's just leave the podcast how it is, the title. I don't mind it. I really don't mind it, to be honest with you.
We just gotta make sure we hashtag it for Nintendo for sure.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. But yeah, what is it? What were we at the end of the show already?
Yeah, we already out there. This felt rushed. Holy crap.
And it wasn't. We only have 4 stories, but we talked a lot. We went in depth. That's what I like, bro. I like going in depth. Lich King said, "Call our podcast the Nintendo Warriors."
I like vibing with you because we don't have to like second guess what we're thinking. We both know what we're thinking.
Facts. We're sexy, bro. We're sexy people.
All right, guys. I'm sorry, but this is the end of the show.
Hurrah.
He's the one for me. There's no place I'd rather be.
I might keep this as our outro. This is such a good song.
To the finish line.
Even though I think you can't hear it, right?
Yeah, I can hear it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for everybody stopping by. If you got any topic suggestions this week, hit us up on social media as usual. Like, subscribe on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. And most importantly, take care of each other. Have a good one. And as always,
Mission complete.
You
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We await your return, Bravery.